Two guys in the dark.
I recently built a new PC. It wasn't exactly powerful, as I wanted to spend as little money as humanly possible. It was good enough to run source engine games like TF2, but nothing like BF3 or Crysis. I was strictly looking for the cheapest way into PC gaming, looking for a bit of nostalgia before I began playing some Team Fortress. I popped in my Halo CE into the disk tray and installed it. I have some fond memories playing with my group of friends and wanted to relive a bit of my past. I instantly started to have problems installing it. Aside from all the minor compatibility issues this game has with Windows 7, I didn't have my CD key. Well, technically, I still have it, but the game's CD key was tied to some other PC that was long gone. I was fed up with that, so I just booted up another game, slightly frustrated that I wasted about an hour of my life on that thing. It didn't take long for me to start looking for workarounds so that I could play. I eventually found a keygen, and the game started to install. I picked the name that I used years ago, and then I hopped into the multiplayer lobby. I just picked a random game of CTF, joined to see if everything worked. It didn't. A pop-up appeared and said that the server's client needed to be updated. The error messages got weirder and weirder. I should have taken a screenshot of some of them. Some of them were almost laughable. Random selections of words would replace the error messages. Completely random. It seemed that no one else online had this issue. The ones that did were told to try updating their game. This information was no use to me because I updated when I first booted it up. However, I still wanted to play. It didn't really matter if no one could join my gimpy, out-of-date server. So I went, created an internet game. Before this, I started up Fraps to capture any weird error messages. I chose CTF on Blood Gulch. The game started to load. Now, some of you guys that have played Halo intensively know that there are certain points on any given map that can glitch up so that people can't find you. These points require you to utilize glitches like pushing yourself through a wall with a vehicle. But there was always one that I couldn't get to. It took such crucial mouse movements and careful precision to even make it to the first step. Since I had nothing better to do in an empty server, I reattempted this glitch. So I got myself into a ghost, made my way over to the middle-ish part of the map, lined myself up against the pillar, began trying to nudge myself into the wall. If you hurl yourself towards it slowly, you'll just knock off the side. If you do it too quickly, you'll just plain knock yourself through the wall and into the abyss. Getting in between there is where I'm trying to get. A few tries later, and I'm in. That was the easy part. The next few parts are hard to explain in text. I had to shimmy across the wall until I start to get pushed off by something invisible. I now have to jump on the invisible thing without sliding off. It's cake from there. A few tries later, and I had it. The vantage point this glitch had on the center of the map made it rightfully so it would be the hardest to achieve. My victory was cut short when my Spartan drops dead. What the crap? I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. Maybe I was out of bounds for too long. I couldn't think about this for too long until I started dying randomly even more. I started to get creeped out. The text just said, "Decision died." I've never seen a pop-up like this in Halo before. I went down into my base just to make sure nothing was hitting me. I sat there for what seemed like minutes. I was observing everything. Leaned forward to my face, was almost touching the monitor. The screen went blank for a second. I didn't have any time to notice what was going on when I heard this terrible screeching noise. I reached by, knocking my headphones into the keyboard, and everything went dark. Dark to the point where I could barely make out anything. Then a player had joined. The player who just joined my seemingly impossible to join server was named Juliet. I was thinking this must have been the person who was making me drop dead. It almost must have been her who made that horrible sound. It seemed impossible for her to control my Spartan's life, or even emit noises that aren't in the game. I wanted to see if I could go shoot at her, so I took off to the blue base. I was thinking maybe this was all a coincidence, and a couple other players will join, and this will just be a normal game of CTF. The onward appearance of the blue base seemed normal, but inside was something disturbing. On the left wall in the back, there were words which I made out to be, "Find me." I was just about to exit right out of the game, but I was stopped in my tracks when a text appeared on my screen. I nearly forgot that you could text in this game. Juliet sent me a smiley face. "Who are you?" "Let's play hide and seek." After I dropped dead once, I quit and shut down my server. I didn't want to hear whatever she had to say next, and frankly, I was kind of creeped out by the whole situation. I honestly don't know if this is a normal occurrence. Maybe the community has been overrun with hackers, and this happens all the time. So the gist of my plan is to play hide and seek with her and see where this takes me. I honestly don't know how I didn't make the connection between find me and her saying let's play hide and seek. But here's the problem. This was probably just some one-time thing, a random occurrence. Although I'm giving myself the benefit of the doubt, I don't think that she will ever come back. I'm still going to play though. Same setup and everything. It probably gives me the best chance of summoning Juliet again. And with all of that out of the way, I don't think that I have much else to say. Nothing much has happened since I quit out of the game. I mentioned that I had something creepy happen on my game during the trip. They seemed to find this hilarious, and was their main source of ridiculing me. Saying things like, "Oh, should we pack it up early? I don't want to keep you from performing an exorcism on your game disc. I'm going to play again as soon as possible." I didn't sleep all the next night. I was too excited to play. No, excited isn't the word. I was anxious to play. I wanted to get this out of the way so that I could move on with my life. All I needed to do was just see if she would join again and play hide and seek. So why not pull the band-aid and play so that I can rest easy tomorrow? Well, I just did that. I started up Halo and creating a LAN server instead of an internet server. This time I'd know if some weird crap was really going on. I hit the start server. The map started to load. The first thing that I noticed was that I could actually see once again. Everything had looked normal enough. This wasn't nearly as scary as I remember it being. I decided to give myself a 10-minute time limit to wait before I tried switching it to an internet game, or just calling it a night. All I could do was fill the time by aimlessly wandering around Blood Gulch. This obviously got boring after 3 to 4 minutes. I started calling out to her. "Hey, Juliet, getting tired here. What am I supposed to do?" That seemed to do it. She had joined. A strange mixture of fear and confusion had came over me, because I thought I had everything figured out. I thought that she was just a random player who was screwing with me. But now it looks as if she was waiting for me. And on top of all that, I was playing on a LAN game. I didn't believe what I was seeing, as I'm supposed to believe that she's some sort of magical, technological ghost that transitions space and time. I don't know what I believe anymore. "Do you want to play now?" "Yeah, sure." The game froze. Everything went dark again. But this time there was a noise. It was just looping over and over again. I started to look around for her, barely able to keep my mouse under control because I was shaking. I felt sick to my stomach. I didn't really want to do this. I don't know why I even said yes to her, but I feel like that I'd be letting you guys down if I didn't see this through. "Count to 10, she said. So I counted to 10. I was just going to search from the back of the map to the front. That seems like the most efficient way to go about this. I eventually found her crouched in a corner looking at me. "You found me." I didn't know whether or not that she was going to leave after I found her, so I immediately asked her, "Who exactly are you?" "That's not the question that you should be asking." "Then what should I be?" "You should be looking for a place to hide." And with that, she quit out of the server. I tried for an hour after this trying to get her back. I even made a server named Juliet, please join. None of that worked. She's gone. After all that, she got what she wanted. A simple game of hide and seek. My client crashed midway through a game 2 days ago, and I was feeling pretty tired. I logged off, and then went to sleep. After re-logging in today, I noticed that I had received an honor from that game. The honorable opponent, 1 to be exact. I originally thought someone DDoSed me, but the fact that I received honor from it was weird to me. I couldn't really remember what the game was about, since it was so short, but luckily I had the recording of it on LOL Replay, despite it not showing up on my match history. I played Nocturne Jungle for that game, like I usually do. More recently now because of the new skin, and I had a pretty standard build for about 15 minutes. Which was Madred's Razor, some boots, Vamp Scepter, and a few health pots up until the point of that client crashing. Upon rewatching it, I realized that something was off about the game. The enemy jungler never connected. In the loading screen, his or her name never appeared. Typical, I thought. The name is probably in another language. But after the screen had loaded, I saw that he simply had no name. Stranger yet, he also had a Nocturne player. From the beginning, he sat still in his base. I might as well describe to you what happened during this game. We started out normally. I jungled and ganked, but no one died for the first 15 minutes or so. Everyone was responsibly leveled and farmed, with every player being in the 6 to 10 range, save for the enemy Nocturne. I had used my ultimate to get what seemed to be an assured kill on the enemy named Soraka. This is when the game had crashed, or when I thought that it crashed. My recorder thought otherwise. In the replay, the screen glitched for about 10 seconds after I ulted her, with everything freezing in place. When I was actually playing the game, it was during this glitch that my client had froze and closed on me. But in the replay, after the glitch, it showed us all still playing. This really freaked me out, but I kept on watching. Apparently my character secured the kill on the Soraka recalled and continued to jungle. That's when I read the eerie message. Has connected. The no-name jungler on the other team got back into the game somehow and started to jungle. I felt uneasy watching him. The other lanes kept on each other, and it didn't take me long to figure out the next oddity. The Soraka that I had killed never respawned. When I pressed tab to see the death timer, there was none. She just stayed dead. An ally had been slain. This time someone on my team had died. The Ezreal. And it was the enemy Nocturne who killed him. He never respawned either. I froze in my chair, watching people die one by one, each death leaving a lasting impression on me. The Nocturne that I was supposed to be playing did everything that I would have done, which weirded me out even further. It was almost like I was still playing in that match. After each player had died, none would respawn. I was always on edge whenever I saw my character getting low on health, to the point that I was gripping my desk. I can't really explain why, but it's a nerve-wracking feeling knowing that if your character had died, they wouldn't come back. I kept telling myself that it was just a glitch, but after what happened next, I found it hard to. There were only 3 left. Me, the no-name, and the enemy mid laner. A Diana. At this point, my eyes were glued to the screen. I couldn't help but watch as my character pursued her. This was the death that disturbed me the most. My character ulted towards her, and I normally would have done, and met her at her Wraith camp, just as my character had gotten there. I saw the enemy standing still in the passage of the red buff. He just stood there, watched my Nocturne destroy the enemy. After her death, everything was still. The minions didn't move. The projectiles were frozen in place, along with my character. Everything was frozen except for the no-name jungler. He moved towards me, paused for a second. The timer in the recording was still going. Curious as to why he just stood there, I checked my settings on the recording. The chat box was unchecked. I remember that my fingers shaking a bit as I clicked to check it. The no-name jungler had been typing throughout the entire match after the apparent crash. All he said over and over, every single minute was, "Kill them all! Kill them all!" Up until I had killed Diana. I felt my heart sink when I read these words that were all decorated across my screen. What he said soon after was what sent chills throughout my entire body. "Thank you for your assistance." And that's when the game had ended. No Nexus was destroyed. No surrender vote was cast. It just ended. Horrified at what I had just witnessed, I immediately took down the names of everyone in that game. After a bit of searching, I found that none of them played another game after that one. I'm still checking every few minutes, hoping that one of them will get in a game soon. I don't really know what happened to those people, and I don't think that I want to know. I have since deleted the recording of my computer. I don't want anything to do with that replay. The image of seeing the honorable opponent message on my screen from lagging in is still burned in my head. Never have I felt so undeserving.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos, and become a stalker of the night. And I'll see you next time.